Waseni, mkofiti, manze nimewa miss, manze nimewa hata. Welcome to Cele's Reflection, another episode this week. And this week, if you don't know, and for those who know, from the 25th of November to the 10th of December, we celebrate 16 days of activism against GBV. So today, our guest, we are going to be discussing, we are all in one journey to end gender-based violence. So our guest today, ana to take through on some of these things that maybe unajua, maybe haujui, leo tujue tu. We all learn. So, welcome Maryanne.
Thank you.
Karibu sana kwa kufika Cele's Reflection.
Asante for having me.
Si mbali sana. So, mbona si mbali?
Yeah, I can literally walk to town.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Maryanne, for coming. Nimekuwa tu host about, we talk about GBV once in a while. Yeah. But now I feel like it's good to talk about it. The more we're talking about it, the more nika tunaiona sana.
Yeah.
Sijui ni juu back in the day we never used to talk about it. So now we are more aware, we are becoming more aware about GBV. But now I want to know, me as the person who is undergoing it, me as the person who has been in a violent relationship, nimekuja kwako for help. Ndo huyo amefika. Amekuja for help. So I want to know, me as the person who is going through it, me as the survivor, as you've told me, mnawaita survivor.
Survivor, not victim.
Not victim.
Yeah.
So me as that person who is going through it, nimeamua, nimekuja for help. How do you take that person through? Mpaka anatoka.
Most often, actually, vile umeuliza mpaka anatoka, it means that mtu anaweza kuja even before leaving. And most often, leaving is actually really hard. So the first thing tunafanyanga ni kuempower mtu. You know, you have to be empowered to know that even if I leave, I'm going to be okay. And most of them usually say, I can't leave because of the kids. I don't know where to start. And sometimes also the shame that goes with it. So most of the time, nitakusikiza. So usually therapy, the way it works is that maybe weekly. And we start with starting to talk about the issue first, so that even mimi kama therapist I can validate you, uone yenyewe you're not at fault. Unajua sometimes mtu fikiria ni yako na makosa. So I will validate you, meaning nitakuonyesha yenyewe what you're going through si poa. And then now I can be able to process that, tuone ni kwa nini unapitia hivyo, what is the cause. But then the most important thing is also what role am I playing in terms of that? Because kuna kwanga na difference ya victim blaming. Kuna tusema like you shouldn't ask the victim what were you wearing, ni nini ulifanya ndo ukachapwa, which is something nini? Yeah, na watu wengi hufanya hivyo, like maybe because nilikuja home late,
because we tend to think huwezi chapwa bure.
Exactly.
Huwezi chapwa kama umelala.
Yeah.
Au kuwa umelala ukachapwa, so you did something.
Yeah.
But still it doesn't you don't need to, hata kama you did something, you're not supposed to be beaten.
Exactly. And that's the difference. Like kila mtu ukosea, and because I'm an adult, don't beat me to make a point. You know, we can be able to deal with the issue vizuri. But then now also we look at the role you play in terms of, most of the time tunasemanga haianzagi na kuchapwa. It starts maybe with me raising my voice, you know.
So violence si lazima physical.
No.
So GBV it's not only for physical like violence. So
that's usually actually what comes after. Yani ikifika hapo, it actually has gotten serious. So we have different forms of violence. And tukisema gender-based violence, we mean like you're causing harm to someone because of their gender. So the first thing inakwanga yo physical, which is kuchapwa and everything. But then also we have emotional. Emotional ni ile mtu anakutukana, the verbal abuse, they are making you feel so low about yourself, so maybe anakudegrade. Shayona mtu anaweza kukushautia hata mbele ya watu, so it makes you feel, yani your emotions are affected. We also have economic. Economic ni ile. Yani Maryanne, she's a career lady, and then you tell me to stay at home. Me, I don't want. I want
that's
to work.
violence.
Yes, it's economic violence. If that is if I don't want. If I want to, it's okay. But utapata, I don't want to. So you're keeping away, your power ya pesa. So that nikwe nikikuomba.
So that's emotional.
Economic violence. Yes. And then we also have harmful cultural practices. Hizo ni kama kina FGM.
Okay.
Unajua ni violence because most of them don't want to. Kuna ile child marriages. Yani mtoi wa 12 years just because they've started seeing their periods, they get married, then that's also violence. So most of this, unaona hiyo emotional, the verbal nini hautaona like physically, and that is why we don't think it's violence, but it still affects someone.
So even in these 16 days of activism, we are marking all these four.
Yes.
Not just your violence ya
Actually, let us jongelea sexual, which is also something that happens. Na unajua sasa mtu maybe kama sitaongea, you will not even know someone raped me or they sexually assaulted me. So that those 16 days tunaongeleanga all of those forms. And actually the UN usually has a video that talks about every form of violence. Hata the harassment za social media, which I don't know if you've ever experienced.
There's still gender-based violence.
Bullying, yes. So now maybe someone comes out to you because you've posted something, because as a woman you're not supposed to post that, so they decide to pick on you. That's still violence.
So at either of all these, you're supposed to seek therapy.
Yes.
The only problem is we seek therapy once mtu mwingine ameona. Ama once umechapwa.
Yes.
So if at all my partner is telling me quit your job, ukuje ule watoto, and I'm not interested, like na ako serious, anasema weka kwa nyumba ule, mi niendange job, that is something that we're supposed to go seek therapy. Yeah. I'm going under abuse.
So most of the time tunasemanga, usually going to therapy isn't the only thing. Usually when these things are happening, it's as a result of conflict. Unajua maybe tumekosana, and then now it gets to the point of violence. So the first thing mi usema, first of all unafaa ujue kudeal nayo we mwenyewe, like seeing how you will respond to whatever may happen. The other thing ni uonge na partner wako.
Usi respond in terms of vita.
Yeah, ndio nimesema respond. Tunasema kuna difference ya respond and react. React ni ukinipatia na mimi nakupatia kama Yesu vile alisema. But usually respond is I've thought of the response ndio nikupatie. And then the other thing ni niongee na wewe. Nikwambie by the way mimi sipendi kushautiwa. Hata mamangu hakuwa ananishautia. So don't do it. I don't like it. But then now you'll find that when you do those, still they are not working. So that's where people usually now involve other people. So usually maybe it's their family, maybe it's their parents, maybe it's the church, maybe unampeleka kwa pasi. And then sasa now when these things also aren't working, now you bring in the professional. So as a professional, it's because I understand the science behind things and I can be able to help you where you're stuck. So maybe utapata kuna mtu mwenye, actually they can't be able to stand up for themselves, they can't communicate. They can't say hapana usifanye hivyo. So I will give you those skills to be able to do it. So one thing yenye tunasemanga very important. Mimi as a therapist, it's not my job to tell you whether to leave or stay. Like we don't give solutions. What we do is we empower you with these skills za kudeal na situation. Ama we mwenyewe tukiongea na we, you see this will not work, let me leave. So that's what happens.
Then there's always a question that we tend to, I don't know whether it's me, but most of these survivors, they tend to stick.
Yes.
They tend to kuamilia hapo. So sisi huku nje ndo tunaona, hey, ingekuwa mimi ningekuwa nilitoka.
Yeah.
Of course kutoka si rahisi. Now we know kutoka si rahisi. But why do they tend to kuamilia hapo even after you're beaten once, you're beaten twice?
Yeah.
Unatusiwa. Like you're not valued in this relationship. Is there a reason, is there a scientific reason why mtu kuamilia tu
Yeah. And in my practice, I like to talk about childhood trauma and the way it affects us tukikuwa wakubwa. Childhood trauma, I mean experiences mtu amepitia akiwa mtoi. Maybe uliona mamako akichapwa. You saw violence as the way to solve things. You are also beaten up very seriously as a child, so you always know that violence is the answer. So most of the time now when you come to the adulthood, unaona enyewe, this is the way to deal with things, enyewe I deserve it. I don't know if you've ever heard in these radio stations where people say people from the West. I don't know how true
It's
that
not
is.
You. You cannot confirm.
I cannot confirm, but some people say mimi kama my man is not beating me, he doesn't love me.
Oh, really?
But
that's sad.
I know, but to them that's what is familiar. So most of these survivors usually feel like the only way to show love is through violence. If we are not, if there is no chaos in the relationship, then it becomes boring to them. Nando nonanga, most people like to say some people love drama because that is what is familiar because of what they have grown with. So that is one thing. And that makes you now get attracted to people who continue to, confirm this belief that love lazima ikuwe na hardships. The other thing, we talk about the cycle of abuse, like vile inaanzanga. Like you've said, most of the times it doesn't start as violent. So it will start with a simple thing as nakushautia, and then I'll be sorry, or I'll make you see mbona umefanya nikushautie. So it was your fault. So you deserve it. So what will you do? You will say sorry for making me shout at you. And imagine it's me who is supposed to tell you sorry. And then maybe I will apologize. Then we will have a period of good time, honeymoon phase. And then now things come up, tension builds. This tension, sasa inakuwa, I am angry, maybe we are giving silent treatment, or I'm just, so irritable, na kasirika, and then it will build up to now the fight or the violence, whatever form that is, and the cycle continues. So tunaanzangana, we are your tension, then the violence, then there's a period of honeymoon where it's very peaceful and I apologize. So most of these survivors at a chapwa, yes, they will say, by then me I'm leaving, this is not working. But then the person comes with flowers and says sorry, and I will not repeat it. And ukimwitia the parents, they say how they will even go to the church, to the pastor, to therapy. So you'll just be there, okay. And then we get back to the cycle. So that is what happens.
It repeats itself.
Yeah.
And I'm sure kuna effects za kitu. Because if at all, some of these people, it's their bringing. So maybe pia mtoto mwenye ako hapa, most likely. So if this person, ameona umemwambia everything, ameona the challenges, ameona how it's affecting them, how will it also affect, how can it affect this, maybe the relationship, ama the people around this family?
Yeah. Actually, effects zinakwanga from individual to even the people around you. So definitely, wewe as a person, first of all, you'll be walking on eggshells. Because ujui mtu hii cycle itarudi lini. And then also, most of the people that have come across, the reason actually they stay is because the relationship starts so nicely. This person treats me so well, go for dates, they show you they love you, and that is something tunaitanga love bombing. Unajua ikikuja sana, ikikuja sana, like let it be progressive. You can't meet me today and tell me you love me. That doesn't make sense. So it has to be very progressive. But most of them do that and they win you over. And you see what also, I talked about what my role as the survivor is. Usually most of us, because like I said, we didn't grow up with love. So ukikuja unionyeshe hiyo love, what do? Naingia box very fast. Because it's like finally I get the love that I didn't have growing up. So I stick there. And then now it starts slowly. And then the next time it's a slap. then the next time there are blows. There's this book that I'm part of a book club, and there's this book, it's called Tomorrow I Become a Woman, and it is triggering, and it shows very well like how it starts, and until now being a woman is being able to take all of those things, and actually the mom keeps perpetrating that, like, for you to be a woman, for you to make your house stand, you need to vumilia. The man beats the woman, and then the mom comes and tells her, after he even did well to do that so that he can show you discipline.
The mom of the woman.
Yes. So even society makes us stay because it's like normalized. That's how things are. So why should you have a problem with that?
Oh. So sad.
Yeah.
So during these 16 days of activism, we're supposed to speak out
Yes.
about against GVV. Like there are some of those things that we're supposed to do as the people.
Yeah.
Some of those things are because pale online tutaandika stop stigmatization.
Yeah.
Well, we are speaking out about it, but kuna mtu ajui stigmatization ni nini. Atasema hata yeye stop stigmatization, but on the contrary, anaifanya.
Yeah.
Atakuwa wa kwanza kwa post ya mtu kumwambia wewe ondoka, wewe labda ulichapwa juu ya So tunai speak out vizuri, but nika tunajiopose in a way. Unaisema vizuri I'm against this and this, but kwingine unajipata ukiambia beshte yako hapana, labda alikufanyia juu ulishindana kina fulani. So
yeah.
What are some of the things that us as the people should do to stop it?
Number one, tunasemanga you need to listen. Especially just general mental health issues. Mtu akuambia yuko sawa, just listen. And believe them. Most of the time, we don't believe them until maybe umeoniona niko na scratch, then that's when you will believe. So usually listen, and listen, I mean...
Listen and believe.
Listen. Unajua tunasemanga you can hear but you're not listening. Like ninakuambia kitu and then hata mi by the way unajua Cele.
I'll listen.
So that's not listening when I am busy giving you advice and telling you about my story. Listening means literally sitting down and listening to what I'm going through without feeling the need to have input, because you're not the one walking in my shoes, so you don't know what I should do. Whenever you do that, at least someone feels validated. And then also now the other thing is to make sure that now you can refer them to whatever help they need and walk with them through that. I get a lot of people who come to me, they say they were referred by a friend, but then they disappear. Usually when you refer someone, you're supposed to also walk with them, see what are they learning and everything. And then, like I said, don't advise. Most of us advise from a point of our own experience. And that's the difference between therapy and going to your friend. Your friend will tell you what they would do if it were them. Like I said, I will not tell you what to do. I'll just equip you with the skills and give you different perspective so that now you can decide what to do. Yeah, so listen, refer, don't advise, and also take care of yourself. So people who, if maybe say you're a parent and you can see your child is going through that, or it's your friend, you can get worked up because you're really worried about them. Like, oh my God, every time you get a call from them, it's like, nini saa hizi, what has happened? So really take care of yourself. And also, apart from your posts, to get to learn more about what this is, because it's not just a matter of posting, because most of us, we know things by theory but practically hatujui.
Hiyo ni ukweli. Kabisa.
Utapata hata men posting that, but then if they see a fellow man doing that, they will not even act. So I remember May is usually World Mental Health Awareness Month, and it speaks about action against. It's not just saying or words, it's action. So even when you know someone is going through that, if you see your friend is perpetrating violence, also call them out. umwambie yenyewe hivyo vile unafanya si vizuri, because at the end of the day I feel like men really have a big role to play, but usually it's us who, okay, I'm
They
speaking
still
about
go.
women, they also go
They
through
still
it.
go through it.
Yeah, but usually you find that both genders have a role to play in terms of, you know, working against GBV.
Yeah, because I don't know why most of us, hata mimi sahi, in my head niko na picture ya mwanamke.
Yeah.
Rarely do we think of men going through, and hizo vitu bado ziko sahi double standard. Online we are, huyu akipost, mwanaume akipost maybe he was beaten up ama women, anaambia wewe kuwa mwanaume.
Yeah.
Wewe kwani wewe si mwanaume?
Yeah.
But ikiflip ikuwe ni dem, oh this man, so it's like we have double standards.
True.
We are choosing which nini to weigh, like to support mwanamke sana.
Yeah.
We have forgotten about the boy child, which I don't know kama tutai balance.
I know, right? Because unajua most of us tunaangalia mambo ya equality, but then still we are not really there yet. I think the reason why we think of a woman first is because the numbers also, you can imagine 1 in 3 women go through violence.
One man.
1 in 3 women.
So
like we are me,
more.
you, and Lena. So one of us usually
one
would
lady
have
and 3
gone.
women.
Yes, one would have gone through violence in their lifetime. So most of the cases are usually women. I think also 70% of all GBV cases are to women. So that is why it's there. And then also the other thing is women, we speak a lot about these things. Whenever we go through it, we will talk to your friend, your family, if kikiumana kabisa. But usually for a man to open up, it takes really a long time.
True.
I've worked in Nairobi Women's has a gender-based recovery center, and we usually see the cases for men going through GBV, they are very brutal. Because it's those cases you hear of Alikato transformer. And usually it's because things have really been piling up that when now a woman decides to retaliate back, it's really bad. So that's why you find that the cases are rare, but they are very brutal.
So they are there. But sasa wakiongea, we laugh at them.
Yeah.
So they have nowhere else to run to until it's serious, ndo tunaanza kuwatetea.
Unasianga hata ati wakienda kwa polisi, the police even laugh at them. Yego nikuja usikie huyu anasema nini. Usually they make it like it's fun, but the good thing is most of the police stations now, they have the gender desk where they have been trained how to handle these issues. But definitely you can't, huwezi kosa some people who still aren't adhering to that.
So that's what we are doing. We are trying as much as we can to create awareness.
Yeah.
Because tunaisemanga kwanza kaa GBV. Pale nje ukichukua ile mic uanze GBV inamaanisha nini? Utashtuka.
By then that's a good idea. Kuuliza tu watu kwa streets, what do you think?
Utashtuka, kuna mtu ajui GBV. By then utashtuka.
Yeah.
Because but I'm sure we are headed there, because the more we are talking about it, the more people get to hear, the more people get to learn, and the more people stop having double standards. Utapata dem kwa stage, tuseme amechokozwa na konda, au kamagira wa kujaza, achokozwe, ambiwe we panda hii, aize kumanage kumhepa, but amtusi. Umeona hizo vitu mbili? So akihepa amtusi. So amemtusi. So that's also GBV kwa hiyo Kamagira. But Kamagira ndo alianza na so who among these two nani akona makosa?
That's why nilisema reacting, responding,
because so she's not supposed to react.
She's supposed to respond,
not react.
Yeah, just sasa ukimtusi and then
inaweza endelea ikipanda and then arudi and then mpaka mfike mahali sasa.
But I feel like that's such a whole systemic issue, because also tena makanga pia they need to be able to, to
Of
be
course, yeah.
educated
True.
against those things. Because me as one person, I can't really be able to stop all of them from doing these things. That's why kila mtu ako na role ya kuplay. Wewe kama individual, as a community, society, and also the government with policies and everything needs to be set. So it's such a huge thing.
True.
Yeah.
But now that got me thinking. I'm not supposed to, as a human being, we are so easy to react than to respond. What I'm getting is reacting kwako ni vibaya. Like ni kama so umechemka. Nika kuchemka. Responding nile kukua very calm and
kuchemka ni sawa.
Nisichemke vibaya.
It's the expression of your kuchemka that matters. So saizi tunaweza kaa hapa na wewe tukosane. Tunaweza kaa na wewe hapa tukosane. And nikasirike. So I can choose whether to, to throw blows at you or tukanane ama niende and then nirudi nikwambie by the way hujafanya poa. Still nimechemka. The emotions are very valid. Whatever you feel is very valid. It's the way you express it that is different and will have an impact. Because saizi nikikuongelesha vibaya, utakuwa defensive uniongelesha vibaya, and then it becomes even a bigger fight than it was.
So, in that relationship, kuna huyo mwenye sasa, huyo mwenye anapigana, huyo mwenye anatusiana. Is there a cause for that? Is there a reason for that why that person is like that?
Yeah. We usually talk about, unajua, mimi as a therapist, instead of also judging huyo mtu, we say they should also go seek for help. Because most of the time, usually they're also going through something. So utapata, again, just the way it was normalized for the survival that violence is okay. Also for him, that is what they saw. So maybe they didn't experience love, so they don't even know how to have healthy relationships. They think that conflict solves things. Sometimes they are projecting issues that they have. Most of the time you'll find that maybe this man is going through something and then they are not even able to come and, talk about it. And the emotion then inakwanga normalized in men is anger. Like men don't show sadness. They don't.
Kona hasira.
Wangu
kona hasira.
Na ujue yo hasira is usually a mask for deeper emotions like sadness. Maybe they don't, they are not at a good financial capacity. You find mtu anaenda maybe uko, they go drink, then they come and cause chaos at home.
But does it validate the actions that they do?
It does not. But so the problem is some of them don't know how to even handle it. So that's why I'm saying also they need help.
So if a client comes to you that my husband did this and this, you're going also to tell the person if also you can talk to your husband.
Yeah.
So you handle them kila mtu peke yake kivyake.
It can be peke yake, it can be a couple's thing.
Oh, so lazima you follow up with this person who did this act.
Yeah. Or work with this person, maybe it's you who has come, work with you now how to go about even dealing with the person that is perpetrating this. Because one of the things yenye tunasemanga, when we talk about now effects of GBV, one of the things is that survivors tend to blame themselves. So we need to also understand what is going. Ni society natuambia. But also part of the healing is being able to understand why was this person doing this? What was he going through? And we say we're not excusing it. It's just to understand. So once I understand that they were doing this because they were going through something, I will stop blaming myself for making him beat me, So then we get to help that person. And usually people talk about narcissistic, but it's just a word that people loosely use. It's a very serious disorder. Most of it is just that someone is toxic or does not know how to have healthy relationships. So also they need help to understand that you don't solve anything by beating someone. So that's why we say it's not the victim's fault, it's the perpetrator's fault. And then this perpetrator, we don't mean now they should be left and discarded. They can also get the help that they need. So I was talking about the effects. So effect number 1, hiyo kujiblame. The other one is self-worth. Because someone is so used to bringing me down and telling me negative things, and if it's, say, sexual, also my body is getting affected, then you find my self-worth goes low. So most of these people utapata
confidence inashuka,
self-esteem, like I don't feel like I am even worth, because you literally treat me like trash. So I also start believing that, and that's also why they have a hard time living, because ninatoka nani atanipenda.
Oh, yeah.
You see, because already it's really low. The other thing is you find that people become very isolated. And that's also a form of abuse, like manipulation, where someone keeps you away from your friends. You know those people who, once you get married, don't hang out with your friends anymore. You have to ask for permission to go to your parents, so you've not seen them for like years. So that's also a way of them taking control over you, because now, even when you go through these things, who will you go to tell?
Nobody.
You have nobody. So the moment you find that you can see maybe your married friend isolating, there's something. And usually also it's as a result of, also, I don't want you to know. And also because of the self-esteem, so I don't feel like I am worth it in our friendship. What will I tell you?
I'm kind of feeling like we have all sorts of human beings. When you metaja hiyo manipulative, like you can see such a person, anakumanipulate, you marry, anasema we have to have common friends. Yeye ndo anakuwa na wale friends wengi. Like all of a sudden your life is tied around to life yake. Sasa all of a sudden. Like mpaka unashindwa, who am I? You can't even discover, you don't even know yourself anymore, because ni yeye na watu wake na Kenya anasema.
And that is also why it's hard to live, because like you've lost yourself. Utaanzia
hauna
marafiki, maybe sometimes hauna hata hiyo job.
Akikukosea hauna mtu wa kuambia.
And also for your kids as well. I've gotten a client who told me, I wish my parents had just divorced, because what I saw growing up with them, having those fights, I would rather tungekuwa tu na 2 homes where it's peaceful. And that's why we say kids don't need perfect parents, they need happy parents. So when you find that there is violence at home, it affects also the kids. You're not there for them. Sasa Cele ukichapwa, unasaidia aje kina Tugi? You will not even be able to give them attention.
So it boils down, inaenda, it's like roots tu zinaenda. Can it end? Can you talk to someone, a change? I'm normally curious kujua kama kuna mse alikuwa violent. Anaweza tu fika tu siku moja tu atulia kwa tu mse mpoa.
I believe so, but personally I haven't had experience, and usually you find that people who are abusive don't really go for help. That's the problem. It's usually the people who are on the receiving end ndio wanaendanga for therapy. There's usually that meme.
Because according to them, they are okay. Like I beat you up for a reason. Siku kuchapa bure.
Mbona wewe unanijibu?
So siendi help, unaenda help kwa nini na mimi niko sawa?
Exactly.
Wewe ndio uko na shida ndo.
So, but if someone would actually be taken aback and be like, I don't want to be like this, Because I've actually remembered I've gotten a man who was like that. Like, I don't want to be that person anymore. So I want to learn how to deal with things better. And usually also going to therapy, for people, they see it as weakness. So it's like, nikienda hiyo therapy, I am admitting there's something wrong with me, so sitaenda. So that's why you find that it's so hard, and that's why these kind of things just end up with people separating. Because also, something we didn't talk about is that people feel like, I've just remembered, people stay because they think they will change the person. You can't. Yani, you think, if I am nice enough, if I humble myself, if I come home early, then he will stop abusing me. He or she will stop abusing me. They will not. So most often you find that people just end up separating because they tried everything and it did not work. It took a toll on them until you break, and then now that's when you leave.
Which is okay. It's better to be apart than to be together and you keep on fighting every day. Because kitambo, I think our mothers walivumilia sana. They used to hide all this. Wanaikula tu vizuri, msee anapackage tu vizuri, kesho kutwa. Like, they would cover it so well. But nowadays, I think we are headed somewhere. Tunaiongelelea by the hatuyeki sana. We are vocal about it, which is a good thing. Because we've realized that it's either you talk, ama the next thing will be burying someone. Mwingine akienda kamiti, mwingine anaenda Langata. Our parents used to joke na hivyo, nitakutandika. Kumbe it's a thing. Like, mtu anaweza shikwa, mlikuwa na family tu mzuri, mmoja aenda Langata.
Ama hao wenye unaona, they kill the family and themselves.
Imagine.
Because now they feel like there's no other way out of this. Imagine there's a way. There's help.
Yeah, so I think guys just need to accept, because hapo kwa accept si rahisi. Kabla nikuje ni accept mimi as the person who's been abusive, not even the abused, the one who is abusive. Kabla ni accept niko na shida ni kam. Hapo it's quite difficult.
And that's why tunasemanga we need to normalize therapy. That is one of the things that I do in my content creation, to normalize therapy. Because if we normalize it and more people, what I mean is more people to go for therapy, hata kama unaona haunanga shida, we usually just have something that we need to work on. And you see, if you're able to do it maybe earlier on in, say, your 20s, we can get to even work on how your childhood has shaped you. So unaona utaenda kwa relationships na marriage na hizi baggage zenye ume carry from childhood. So you see, we will have already stopped this thing. Therapy should be like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym to lose weight, you go to be fit. So the same way watu wanafaa waende, so that ikifika huko kwenye imesha advance, it even becomes harder and it's a longer process to go through the healing and everything. So the earlier the better.
So tunafaa tuongee na gava waingize therapy mahali kwa high school.
I know.
Hapo baggages ni kidogo, ni kaza 17 years, maximum 18 years. But by the time you are getting into a relationship, mmeoana, mkono watoto, unaenda therapy at 35. Now they've piled up. Imekuwa mingi.
Exactly.
That's why we are learning these things. Ni awareness. Labda itafika mahali wazieke mahali.
Ikuwe kwa curriculum. How to handle conflict. How to deal with emotions.
And those trauma things that you say, trauma. Nowadays I'm seeing trauma. There's one that I saw juzi, akasema, sasa imagine nikienda kuambia mama yangu ati ako na trauma. Imagine telling your mom, unajua ile kunichapa because you have a trauma, sijui what, sijui baggage, sijui. Ebuenda, even your parent who atashindwa na shida yako ni nini wewe. Because their parents used to beat us. Walikuwa na kitu ilikuwa inawasumbua.
It wasn't okay.
Haikuwa kawaida. My mama angegonga na hii meza. Hiyo si kawaida. So imagine me telling her right now, mama unafaa uende therapy. Wewe
what I find inasaidianga ni I go to also talk in schools and churches.
Oh, nice.
So wanasaidiangwa na say kuna hizi chamas and like women's group in churches.
Yes.
Now someone else goes to talk about it because that's what my mom did. And actually nowadays we talk about these things because alienda kwa seminar ya wamama and then they were taught about, you know, parenting and, you know, how a child develops, and now they can be able to reflect and see, and yeah, I wasn't a good parent. But you can't tell them.
Mama uko na trauma. Wewe uko na trauma mingi sana.
Did you know what I went through to bring you up? At least you had a good house, school fees. They will never admit it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I feel like we are headed there.
Yeah.
Wacha kila mtu afanye part yake. If you can talk to, listen, give a listening ear to your friends. Listen venye Maryanne amesema, don't talk, don't give your input.
Advice.
You listen and make sure you listen to hear. So thank you so much, Maryanne.
Karibu sana.
Yeah, this is a very, especially hizo siku 16. We should shout
Talk
more.
about it.
Talk about it. And even for the men, wanaume nashinanga nimwambia si muende muongee, wanaume
They don't want to.
They don't want to.
Actually, I saw the other day, I don't remember what post that was. There is this person advocating against now the violence for men, anaitwa Rick's Poet. Some people know him. Alienda comment akasema, you want the women to speak for us, as we don't speak for ourselves. He posts such things and people bash him. A lot of them.
Na ingekuwa vice versa. Ingekuwa sana naongelewa mama. Tungekuwa tunamsupport vibaya sana.
Exactly. So men also need to actually speak up for themselves more, and because also it's men listen to men.
So now I want to plug you guys with Maryanne, because maybe she can be of help to someone. Maybe kuna msema amesema, okay, Maryanne anaongea vizuri, naweza enda kumwambia hivi na hivi na hivi na hivi. So where can they reach you?
Yeah, some people tell me I speak so softly, like like a therapist should. So in case they're interested, they can find me on all social media handles, Therapist Maryanne. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, although it's dormant, they can find me there. And also, I do both virtual and physical sessions.
Nice.
So there's physicals nafanya town, CBD, or along Thika Road. Someone can find me there. But if you come to my DM on my socials, I'm very active there. So we can always plan on how to go about it. Can I give my number maybe?
Yes, if you're okay.
Yeah, then the business number is 0723629885. So they can always call, text, or WhatsApp me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping us.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping us overcome those traumas. Hizi terms tunazisikia saa hii.
Yeah.
So at least
we are getting more aware.
Exactly. Slowly by slowly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys, for watching. That has been our episode for today. For the next, so ilianza like 3 days ago. So for the next few days, please do something like stand up against GBV,
Yes.
wherever you are, in that small space, in that small office, kwa apartment, wherever you are, just do something. So until next time,
Bye.
bye.